evening. Stephen, is that 1-0 victory deserved tonight for PSG?
Deserved for their determination to keep on going, keep trying to attack. They didn't create that many chances because Madrid defensively, I thought, were absolutely excellent, and this is the one time they really get cut apart. But if anybody was going to score, it was going to be their man, because in a game that was littered with world-class footballers, he was a standout performer by a mile. He's relentless, his speed, his ingenuity in space, never give up a desire, and then what comes to the forefront is his ability on the ball as well, which is just staggering. Yeah,
if the PSG fans needed reminding what they'll be missing if he does depart, and it certainly looks that way at the end of the season, on a free transfer, just to rub salt into that wound, they really do know what they're going to miss, because without him tonight, it would have been a scoreless draw, and that was very much on the cards.
Yeah, definitely. He was excellent. Every time the ball got to him, he looked like he was going to do something. Even when they doubled up on him, he managed to get around players, but he was excellent in every form of his game. He defended when he needed to defend. When the ball got to him, he just always looked like making something happen, particularly when he got it out wide. Even, as I said, when he was doubled up on, he always looked like he could do something. He was just sensational tonight every time he got the ball.
Up until that point, though, how much credit would you give to Real Madrid for the way they managed that game?
I think defensively, they almost got it perfect. Their individual performances from the two centre-backs, Alaba and Militao, were wonderful. Casemiro in front of them, just screening. Like, they did such a good job on basically blocking the space. But then the blocks they made, they were getting themselves a great position, intercepting passes. The whole lot of the back four were excellent throughout the game. But PSG were probing and probing. Neymar came in and he just gave a little bit of emphasis towards the attack for PSG, and then Mbappe comes up to goal. But you can't take hand away from Madrid. Like, they set out their stall. Maybe if you're going to defend for a whole game, it's going to come undone. But, you know, they defended brilliantly for most of it.
Yeah, and it means the tie is still very much open, because they have to go to Madrid now. But Madrid will have to approach it in a very different way, which will possibly present even more opportunities for PSG. So they're in a good position.
Yeah, I think going into this game tonight, I think they probably went into it knowing that they can kind of keep that top three quiet. They can get something from the game. I think that's what Ancelotti done. He tried to kind of keep it tight and maybe nick something on the break, and probably just didn't get that last part right in terms of maybe the attacking style of play. But I think definitely when it gets back to Madrid, you're going to be a bit more of expectation on the Madrid players to show their attacking flair, and also then keep that brilliant defensive line the way it was tonight as well. So it's going to need to be a complete package to get something in the next leg, I think.
Yeah, well, if it's half as intriguing as tonight's battle was between these two, it'll be well worth watching once again. But we have to have a look at the moment of the game, Kylian Mbappe's goal. It came very late, but it was well worth waiting for, wasn't it?
Again, he just drifts into this left-hand channel, which you've seen so often throughout his career. But in this game particularly, he gets out there, and when he gets it up, he's got one thing in his mind. Like, if Real Madrid players line up to try and stop him, and he just finds the gap, it's a little step or a knock through it, and then the calmness when he goes in to put through Courtois' legs. So again, it was another Real Madrid player who was sensational throughout the game. But the determination when he just knocks it past him here to get through, you can see on his face, no one else was getting on the other ball apart from him. And then the calmness to put it through. Little back heel from Neymar, who again, I think, put a little bit of emphasis into the attack for them. But this guy was he was relentless. Like, this is the 94th minute of the game, and he's still going hell for leather, full tilt into the box, trying to create something. And he, you know, is the most deserved winner of the game was him.
Certainly was, and we saw Neymar involved in the build-up, and his introduction did seem to spur PSG on just a little bit. But prior to that, Lionel Messi wasn't having the best of nights, and even when the penalty was awarded and we saw Messi stepping up to take it, we were concerned because he wasn't having a good night. Yeah,
we touched on it at half-time. He looked a bit out of sorts. He wasn't getting a lot of the ball. I think that went down to a lot of the good Real Madrid defending. But I think overall tonight it was a sad performance from him, because I think we know the player he can be, and he just doesn't look like he's in a comfortable position in PSG at the moment. It's, again, great play from Mbappe. He's the player who wants to win something. Carvajal, I have no idea what he's doing trying to get a tackle in there. His touch is going to take him out of play, and it's a silly tackle from Carvajal, but that's what Mbappe makes you do. He makes you kind of make rash decisions. But again, going back to Messi, I think throughout the game, he just... I think when you see him stepping up to take the penalty, I thought he wasn't going to score it, and I think that's just the way it was for the whole night from him. I think when Neymar came on, he was a little bit better, he looked a little bit more alert, but it's a good save from Courtois. But as I said, I don't think Messi looked confident going to take that, and that was just the way he was throughout the game. He didn't look himself.
And even this moment here where he took the ball off his teammate's foot, you know, and then didn't get his shot away.
Yeah, that miscommunication again. I think, as I said, he's come from a team where everything is around him. He's the centre of everything. Everything gets played to him, and now it kind of seems that he's having to adjust his play a little bit. And he just, as I said, and as we talked about at half-time, he just looks out of sorts at the moment.
Yeah, and he'll be mightily relieved that Kylian Mbappe got them that winner, having missed that penalty. Let's talk about Real's defensive display this evening, Stephen, because there was an awful lot to admire about it.
It was. There were the organisation was fantastic. The determination to make tackles, get into set passes. Alaba and Milito were wonderful. Their communication, and we spoke about before the game, saying, you know, you've gone from Varane and Ramos, who have been such a stalwart for so long, that this pairing has been put together, and you know, you wouldn't have expected them to be as successful as that they are, and the communication to be there.
Yeah.
But the rest of the team in the middle of the park as well, closing down space, getting out, blocking shots, you know, releasing defenders. The communication seems brilliant between them, and then the sheer doggedness just to get in people's faces, get in the way of the ball, put your body on the line, you know, all over the team. This was brilliant. Like I said, Casemiro again was wonderful, but you know, you're getting Kylian Mbappe in the box there, and they're getting bodies and numbers around the ball, trying to shut down the space, stops them from tackling. This is Casemiro going out here making a wonderful tackle, and then his ability to, when he gets into these areas, read the game well. Alaba in this one-on-one situation with Mbappe is probably the most difficult player in the world to be in a one-on-one situation with, but they defended so well at so many times. The only thing you have to criticise from is when they got the ball back, they gave it away way too easy, so just encouraged PSG to come back on top of them again.
Just bringing that extra element to the game, I think, that they missed tonight, but defensively they were really, really good at times. It was just the Mbappe kind of bit of magic that got them the win in the end, got PSG to win.
Yeah, I mean, barred that Mbappe moment of magic, the defence was really good for Real Madrid. But how important do you think the European experience within that Real squad was tonight? The way they set up, the way they were so disciplined in defence, because it's not really the way they go about their business on a regular basis, is it? Yeah,
definitely. I think you can see the likes of Toni Kroos, Modric, Casemiro as well in there. And obviously the two guys in behind, Alaba has a huge amount of experience in Europe as well. But I think in the end tonight, it didn't work out for them, but I think overall in the game they were very, very good. And I think, that little bit of experience in terms of winning games and winning important games looked to be standing to them. But as I said, that little bit of magic from Mbappe kind of ruined their whole game plan in the end.
Yeah, it did. But it's only 1-0. How do you think it'll be received in Madrid?
I think they'd be disappointed that when they got the ball back, they weren't able to actually keep it and pass. And when you have the players like that are so experienced in the middle of the park, like Kroos and Modric, that their passing up to the front man was lacking. But I think you have to give a little bit of credit to PSG. And signs of what Pochettino does is when they lost the ball, the press to get it back was really intense and quick and forced Real Madrid into mistakes.
Which suggests they're playing for the manager, doesn't it?
It does, and that was what, you know, we've been given a lot of criticism, and that he's probably going to go if they don't win this. But that was a sign of a Pochettino team that, well, after they lose it, they harassing it back quickly, which was nice to see from them.
They stuck to the game plan, I think, and as you said, back to manager and kind of went with what he wanted them to do, which I suppose really frustrated the Real Madrid team.
Yeah, it did.
Stephanie, we spoke at half-time about Kylian Mbappe in that first half looking the most likely to give the assist or break the deadlock with a goal himself, and again in the second half prior to his goal he was on the end of whatever chances they were creating, wasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. As you said, he's a magical player. Like, he gets into good positions, he picks up the right positions on the pitch, and I think we spoke about the lack of space in the middle, and I think here he's the one player who maybe finds that little bit of space in a tight area. He gets the ball in, it's a great first touch to get his shot off, and it's a good save from Courtois. But again, we've been talking about the whole first half in terms of how good that Real Madrid defence were, but he finds that little gap and gets that shot off. He was instrumental throughout the game. I think he had kind of he looked the most likely to make something happen. This is a great effort. You think it's just going to curl into the bottom corner. It was good play by Messi as well. But this is the one. I think we're all looking, kind of going, okay, they've got players across, they've got cover, and he finds that tiny little gap that he gets through. And as Stephen said, he was always going to win that ball and get the shot off. And it's a brilliant finish. But he was sensational tonight, and I really think he's shown why he's seen as one of the very best in the world at the moment.
Yeah, a really inspirational moment. And I suppose PSG will be further encouraged by the reintroduction of Neymar, because he did make a difference when he came on, and his link-up play with Messi was good, and he did contribute to that winning goal.
It did, yeah. And when you see when he, like, there was a bit of a lift and a spark to the team when he gets in the ball. Straight away, he's inventive and he's deep. When he gets it in deep areas, he's looking to go past people and find the pass straight away. And this pass in from Messi, it's the first time he's really fired one in, but the touch from Neymar sets him off, puts Messi back on his way, and the Messi delivers into the box. And that was probably the most lively Messi has been throughout the whole game. Yeah. But he makes things happen. And then it's just another worry for the Real Madrid team, because you're committing 2 or 3 bodies to Messi, to Neymar, to Mbappe. At some point they're going to get free. Here, I think he goes for the shot. He looks up and I think he's looking for the glory. He tries to put it in. Courtois does really well coming out, smothering the space. But, you know, having him back is another strength to their bow, someone that can really turn teams around. And he's going to be fit again when the next game comes along. It's going to cause Real Madrid more problems, but Mbappe was the star.
Yeah, he certainly was. We can go back to Paris now, because we're about to hear from Real Madrid goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois.
Thibaut, almost a very good night for you.
Almost, yeah.
Almost. The penalty? Did you did your homework, I guess? You knew perhaps which way Messi would go?
Yeah, obviously he shoots a lot of penalties in a season.
Yeah, so how do you see it now, Stephanie? Had it finished 0-0, you possibly would have favoured Real Madrid in the return leg at the Bernabeu. But now 1-0 down, you know, have they the wherewithal from an attacking sense to get the better of PSG?
Yeah, I think it just maybe puts the onus on them to actually go and attack a little bit more. As we said tonight, it was almost a really, really good performance, a complete performance. But what they were missing was that attacking threat. So obviously going into the game, and all the away goals rule is out. So they just kind of need to get a goal and get themselves set off in the right form for that away or that home leg in Madrid. So I think it doesn't change too much. Obviously, with the away goals not being there, they're going to still have to go out and get a goal. As he said there, would have had to do that anyway. So. Yeah. I think for me, it's just going to need to see a little bit more from the attacking players and maybe a better game plan on how to deal with when they do win it back. Because, as we said, PSG were very, very good at closing the ball down when they did get it. But can they kind of break that first player press and then maybe get in behind them, maybe make something happen with their attacking threat? Yeah,
Real Madrid fans, and Carlo Ancelotti in particular, will be very pleased that Benzema got through unscathed, because there were concerns returning so soon after a hamstring injury that it might be a risk. But you were commenting during the game how lively he did look.
He looked really sharp, and even though he fell completely off scraps for most of the game, when the ball was played into him, his control on bringing people into the game was excellent. We were actually talking about it, and he gave the ball away, which was one of the only times he did. But his ability to get hold of it when it's bouncing into him, it's even awkward passes. He makes a bad pass look good so often, and it goes unrecognised a lot of the time. But you have to get the ball into him, you have to get it high up the pitch, and you have to get bodies and support. There was times when they were kicking the ball out and they're playing short but then going long, and they're just so far spread apart because they spent so much time working defensively. They didn't get the numbers up to him. But that's where I'll probably be worried for Madrid, because if they start pushing bodies forward, you see what Mbappe did to them when they had no space. If you give them space and time, you know what could happen.
It'll be intriguing tactically again, so won't it? So Ancelotti, who looked to have just got it right tonight, but they conceded that late goal, he'll have to think about something very specific to take on PSG at home, won't he? Yeah,
he'll just have to have a little rethink. As I said, I think it was a decent performance defensively, but it's just about kind of, as Stephen said, getting the support up the pitch and obviously then dealing with the threat of that pace in behind with Mbappe as well. So it's going to be a little bit of work on Ancelotti's hands, but I think, as I said, he's a tactically very good, sound coach, and he's done a good job tonight defensively. But it's just about bringing it all together so that we can see what the attacking players can do and get that support up to Benzema, who, as we said before, is an excellent player going forward. Yeah, he certainly is, and will pose a significant threat. They hope when they get back for that return leg, 3 more matches in La Liga before they do, and they hope that Benzema remains fit. He is obviously their big talismanic figure on the Real Madrid side.